And which brings us to our last section, and it's called the words of wisdom. The entire interview has been having bits and pieces and lots of wisdom that you've shared. But if I could ask you, what would be your top one or two words of wisdom for the aspiring applicants to judge for the coming cycles? Sahil, you could maybe start, and Tripti, you could add.
Yeah, sure. So probably I think the most important part is when you're going for the interview is your preparation, how well you're versed with the backstory. So I think the key things which I said with respect to knowing your backstory, knowing, having that pool of questions with you and jotting down different answers. So that basically prepares you for any scenario that you can actually come in the interview, because I think professors are real smart guys. They'll find loopholes in your application and actually ask specifically those questions, because they thoroughly go through your profile and they have 2 to 3 different questions that they want to test your knowledge on, whether the essays that you have written are right on your own or not, or whether the things you have mentioned with respect to your experience are right or not. So that's something which is very important. You need to be very well versed with your application, and the preparation has to be very thought of in terms of the questions that will be asked. Overall, I think that's it. In terms of the creation of essays, obviously the star approach is very important that you need to keep in mind, because always think of it as you are a storyteller, that you need to tell a story and engage the audience to actually understand, oh, that was a situation, okay, he took this action, this was the result. So basically they should be able to see you as a business person already, in terms of applying those skills which you're going to learn in the B school. So yeah, this is something that every applicant should keep in mind.
Tripti, let's move on to you. Top 2, 3 suggestions for incoming candidates.
Okay. All right. So three, right? So the first one is, and I made this mistake that I took the process very linearly. So I said, okay, I'll do the GMAT first, then I'll do the essays, then I'll apply. Don't do that. Read the essays right from the day that you plan to apply, because it gives you an insight into what the school wants. It keeps that, thought process going on at the background, so that, whenever you're at work or, volunteering or doing anything, you can think of, oh, this is something I want to talk about. And I used to always have like a notes section open on my phone where I would just quickly type that down, because your story is filled of so many mini stories, so it's very hard to know which one you want to pick. So in this way you can create your own database, and you'll always have something that you can come back to. So that's something which I think was super helpful for myself. The second thing was more so related to, how and when to write the essays. So as I was telling you, I would suggest to people that please take some time off to do this, because I mean, I don't know if the GMAT is the most important part, but your story is definitely the most important part, because it's going to come in your essays and in your interview. So please take some time off, because you need that mental bandwidth away from work, away from other things, to actually construct a nice essay and talk about your life in a nice way. Because everybody has a unique story, right? And you have to talk about why it's unique. The STAR approach is yeah, absolutely bang on. And the last bit, and this is something that I personally struggled with, was making the one-page CV that is there. I mean, I've had 5 years of experience, and putting those 5 years on one page was extremely difficult. And I know there are people who had way more experience than me, way diverse experience than me. So that is something that is a bit of a struggle. But you have to think of this whole thing as a holistic process. Again, don't do it linearly. So that, when you're writing your story, you'll also know that, okay, these are the points I want to add in my CV. These are the points I don't want to. And a mistake that I made is I didn't use the STAR approach in my CV as well. But please use that, because it's extremely important to pointedly show what was the situation, what did you do, what was the outcome. So just writing that, I was a part of a lot of problem solving activities. But that doesn't really give you a sense of what was the achievement. So, it's nicer to write led problem solving activities, which resulted in 1,000 man hours of savings. Like, that tells the whole story in one point. So that's how you need to approach the CV as well. So yeah, I think those are my three top points.
Amazing. I think some really good suggestions coming for our viewers, and for the viewers, please take notes. These are words of wisdom coming from two successful Cambridge applicants.